Good morning. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome to the show at Rise Up Show with me, your host, the Queen Bee, Dani. How are you feeling? As we chat this morning to the devilishly handsome, the fabulously wonderful, the incredibly knowledgeable Mr. Fidel Bohill, the modern man. Good morning. Jodie Salt, good morning. Babna Reddy, good morning. Elise Woodbine, good morning. The devilishly handsome Ian Dixon, good morning, sir.
Shut up, for f***'s sake. Jesus.
The fantastic Lizzie Jackson Barrett, good morning. Josephine Sandra, everybody, good morning. I was doing a little dance then. I was doing a little boogie. Good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Katie, is it Wednesday? It's Wednesday. It's Wednesday all day today, which means you lot, 2 more sleeps till Casa del Wallace is in situ. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show. Why is it? I don't know what this is. Who are you? Go home, you drunk. There you go. How are you doing, everybody? Come on in, come and get a cuddle. Welcome to Wednesday in the show, Rise Up Show with me, your host, Dani Wallace. I hope you are feeling good today. I am. I'm feeling very, very good today. I feel like, you know, when you're a toddler, or if you've had contact with a toddler who's overtired and they get dead hyperactive just before they pass out, I feel like you're getting that version of Dani this morning. Like, she has had an hour's sleep. I don't know if anybody saw on my personal profile, my status, around about 2 o'clock this morning, I relegated myself to the settee because Wallace was snoring like a dairy cow. I have never experienced anything like it. Has anybody found this? Those of you that do have partners, have you found that over the course of lockdown that your partner has increased, if they are snoring, all of a sudden they're not just like little cute... Oh, he's deep breathing. This is sonorous, house shaking, walrus style snoring that was occurring last night and is on a regular basis at the moment. I don't know if any of you lot have got any remedies for snoring other than a pillow to the face, which I tell you something, that was going to happen last night. I was not going to be held accountable for. I was that sad I couldn't sleep last night. I almost cried. Put myself downstairs, covered myself up with a weighted blanket because I love a weighted blanket. And yeah, it was a situation. So I feel like I'm that toddler who hasn't had a lot of sleep. They're ready for a bubbles, but they're dead excited about 5 minutes before they pass out. That's how you've got me this morning, which is brilliant because I've got to him. I probably, do you know what? It might not be a bad. Where's my bloody arm? I normally have it on my desk. I do have it on my desk to hand. What I would probably do with my tuning fork, Nicky Sprosson, is I will shove it up his nose. Is what I will do, as opposed to dinging my arm like this. If anybody doesn't know what this is, by the way, this is an tuning fork that I use to help clear energies. I don't care if you're not woo. My spiritual connection is something that I'm growing on a regular basis. In fact, some of our speakers for Be Inspired are going to be sharing with us more about it. Nicky Sprosson is one of them. So this is an tuning fork. You're going to be learning more about that at Be Inspired. But yeah, I don't think, so this is the sound of the I don't know if you can hear that. It's the sound of creation. This beautiful, beautiful noise. I use it. It's really grounding. It's lovely. But I think in terms of assisting Wallace with his snoring, there are 2 prongs. And I think it's just that's where I will be hitting it up his nose to stop him bloody snoring. I tell you what. It was quite the evening. I can tell you that much. But yes, it was house shaking. But yeah, Nicky Sprosson is going to be speaking on the Be Inspired stage, talking to us about sound therapy, how she came to sound therapy, the tuning forks, and a spiritual connection. The beautiful thing about Be Inspired, for those of you that don't know what Be Inspired is, by the way, it is a celebration, motivation, inspiration, education event that is occurring on the 22nd and 23rd of April. 2 days, 22 speakers, all phenomenal, all trained speakers, all bringing you some incredible value, whether it's business, whether it's strategy, whether it's spiritual, whether it's parenting, whether it's love, all manner, complete broad spectrum of awesomeness. So as you know, personal development is huge for me. It's something that I was sharing right from back in the day when I was looking for my phone, where I would go live in my car. I would share my personal development journey. It was always a huge dream of mine to be able to put on big personal development events. Your girl is not holding back this time. So even though it's in April, before June, when we're meant to be in the same room together, we're doing it in April. We're bridging the gap. We're taking all of our speakers to a TV studio, all singing, all dancing, and I am bringing them to your homes because I don't want to wait till June. I don't know about you. You want to get yourselves a ticket to be inspired. It's ridiculous value. It's £89 per ticket. And if you get a ticket, you'll become eligible to be part of our affiliate scheme, whereby you can earn back the cost of your ticket. So if you share that with 4 people, you actually get to attend the whole thing for bloody free. I don't know how else I can help you right now. I don't know how easy I can make it for you to access some of the most incredible human beings. You know, my black book is bulging full of incredible people. This is one of those times where I'm giving you access to so many wonderful, phenomenal people. And not just that, you also have a members area when you get a ticket that have all sorts of wonderful added extra bonuses, templates, additional workshops, mini courses, you name it. It's going to be in that members area as well. 89 quid, absolutely chuffing no-brainer. If you want a ticket, put ticket in the comments. I will hook you up with a link. That's all I have to say about that. Get a ticket to be inspired. Right. Without further ado this morning, I can't wait to get this lady on to the show. I do say to her on the regular that because I am the busiest of bees, I can't wait. I love it. Can't wait for this event. It's my week off in between jobs and it's keeping me going. Who is this? Tell us who this is. Nikki is so excited. Nikki, I can't wait to get you on that stage. You are going to rip it up. I'm so excited. Be inspired, overexcited child. Joe, you got your ticket last night. I saw you come through. So excited about it. I always say that, you know, having this show is an absolute blessing because as busy as I am, what it allows me to do, it allows me to bring phenomenal people to you every single day, phenomenal concepts, inspirational stories, motivation, celebrations, sharing with you all the good stuff. Also gives me an opportunity to catch up with my mates. And today I'm doing both. The last time I had this lady on the show, you will have needed a pen and a notebook because we were just firing out the gold between us. It was a fire show, what I would like to describe as a fire show. And I've got no doubt that today is going to be no different. So to share with us a little bit of her journey since we last spoke, please welcome the phenomenal Katie Webster. Get in here.
Oh my God, I'm thinking, who's she talking about?
Who is she? Who's that Katie Webster?
Well, she's here now.
She's
in the building. She's moving into your house as well. We've already discussed that.
So Katie and I are friends, and we were friends before sort of the IATQB thing started to really take off. And, you know, we've met at some events before and we'd connected that way. And when you meet someone, you go, do you know what? I like you. Yeah, I like you too. Let's be friends. That's what we decided. And we've remained so ever since as, you know, active participants and sharers of each other's fabulous stuff and great respecters of each other's work. And again, one of the testaments to our community that together, when we link arms, when we surround ourselves with the people that we aspire to be like, we can only do good things. There are no bad things to be done when we work in that way, right, Katie?
100%. And that's in the normal world when it's not COVID. That's kind of what I do. Yeah. It's that it's networking, it's connection, it's hooking up people, even if there's no link to me. It's not about me. It's like if I met you and there was no work sort of commitment or the connection for us, I could think I could be speaking to somebody else in 3 months and I go, oh, they need to speak to Dani, or Dani needs to speak to them. It's that connection. And I think, well, we said something before, and I'm very much like it now, is that I think it's an age thing, possibly for me. Definitely is that I don't suffer it anymore. I pick and choose the negativity, the mood suckers, they're out of here.
Right.
Anything, only positivity, sharing, you know, people championing you. I love a cheerleader. I am a cheerleader of other people, you know, and that's the whole point.
Right. And the thing is, when you are a little bit younger, and this is not, and I know that we have such a varied audience here on, certainly on the show, Rise Up Show, and in the IATQB Hive, we have people that are just starting out in business, people that are younger in their 20s. We have people that are all the way up to in their 70s that come and watch the show and come and get involved. But I think there is definitely something that happens around the time that you hit 30, 35, where you stop putting up with bullshit from anybody.
I'm loving you saying 35, try 45.
Well, but still, like, there's something that happens post 20s
100%,
for
100%.
sure.
Yeah.
Even 30s were an awakening. So I'm 37 now, and I'm sort of looking at 40, kind of staring it down, thinking, I am excited for the person that I've become.
Yeah.
My Christ, am I excited about the person that I'm going to become?
Yeah.
Because the more you know yourself, the more you've got your boundaries in place. That when you've got those boundaries in place, the more you can do.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. And it's filtering out what you personally will and won't put up with.
Right.
You know, and there's certain things, because there's certain mindset stuff that comes up when you're younger and you're older, which when you're younger, you don't appreciate what that means or what that is. And like now, sort of in my 40s now, I don't have, and we've had this conversation before, I don't have money mindset issues, never have had. I don't come from a scarcity background, not that would make any difference. In our household, you talk about money, you talk about finances. My dad will ring you up on a daily basis and say, hi, how much have you earned today? So you got to get over that fear. There's no fear. Yeah. It's a free flowing conversation. So, but I'm aware that I'm a little bit of an anomaly when it comes to that. So, you know, it's when you know what your strength is, you can share that with other people from a more been there, done that, got the t-shirt. You know, I was through my 30s very apologetic in a way that people saw it as a masculine kind of bullshiness. It wasn't. I was I could just talk about money. And you know, if you said to me, okay, Katie, I'm earning £1,000 this month, I'd like it to be 1,500 by the end of next month, I'd be like, right, you need to do this, 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 and this. That's it. Yeah. There's no fluff or frill.
I think one of your zones of genius, when you say it like that, and knowing you as I do, it's making those connections. Like, your brain is wired to engineer those things happening. Yeah. And I think that's one of the beauties about being connected with you and seeing you work in the way that you do, is that I know that your clients come to you and they say, okay, well, I want to be earning this much, or I want my business to look like this. And your brain just sets to work making all those connections to see the path. It's almost like, it's
literally A to B.
You work like a stat nav.
I don't see the peripheral at all. It's just, I can't describe other than it's like it's crystal clear in a straight line. Yeah. And I say to people, I don't understand why you can't see it. I get why you can't see it. I get it, because when you're in it, it's very difficult to work on it. So I get that.
See it, you're in it like this. Like,
exactly.
How can you?
Somebody said something, I'd never heard it before. When you're inside the jar, you can't see outside the jar. And I love that, because I thought, that's exactly it. So I kind of now give people a bit of a break because I'm like, really, why can't you see this? it's bizarre. And then I am a little bit scary, because then it's matter of fact. Right. It's this, and this. You know,
that's owning the fact that it needs to be matter of fact sometimes. And I get that people need to be delivered to in certain ways. Yeah. And you know, people like peaches, people like apples. Not everybody can like peaches. Not everybody can like apples. You are a juicy peach, right? Yeah. And when people come to you, it's because they need to know something. I talk about the show up, rise up cycle, right? So in order to rise up, in order to have, you know, to attain your goals, your measure of success, whatever that is, there's two things that are often missing. One is that you're not showing up. So you know everything that you need to know, but you're not showing up. Or the other is that you are missing something. There is a gap in your knowledge, because if there's no problem showing up, like for me, for years, there was no problem showing up. I was going live every single day, putting my makeup on, telling people were following me, didn't know how to buy from me. I didn't have anything for sale because I didn't know how. I didn't know what my suite of services needed to look like. I didn't know how to market properly. But I did know how to do is show the F up. So I needed somebody to tell me, you need to do this and do this and do this and do this. Show up while you're doing it. And it's like maths, it happens. But people need that. Okay, this is the equation to get there. We need X plus Y. And sometimes being fluffed around with that ain't just going to cut
equation, I say formula. There's a formula. You say you showed up. I say some people will buy a product. They want to sell it. Some people are very artistic and can make and do paintings and they want to sell it. So that's from a passion point of view.
Right.
I'm all about the business. Numbers do not lie. 2 + 2 = 4 every time you look at it.
Yeah.
There's no deviation. How you get your 2 + 2, that's a different matter.
Right.
But the end result is always 4. And that's for me. So, and I always ask the end result first and then come back from that. And it doesn't always have to be money. It can be, as you're saying, from a visibility point of view, I work with people who need to grow their visibility. And I'm not here to say that I teach them how to do visibility. I really don't. And I'm one who needs to turn up a lot more myself. But if you want to grow your audience on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever that is, then that's where I can see, right, well, you're not on stories, or your posts aren't regular enough, or your consistency on that level isn't there. And then, as you've rightly said, from your point of view, which is, to be honest, where most people do, is they either show up or they buy the product or they make the product. What they then don't do is the link of, how can I buy from you?
Right.
What are you selling to me? What's the price? How much is it? And a lot of people see that a bit of like a Del Boy QVC moment. It isn't. People want to buy. It's as basic, economics, years and years ago, bartering. I've got a chicken, you've got potatoes. Do you want them? That kind of thing. If that's not available, people can't buy.
Why do you think people are scared? And this is only something that I've really started to understand, embrace, and love in the last 3 or 4 years. And of course, you've seen it's paid dividends in my business.
Absolutely.
Asking for the sale. What is so scary, do you think, for people when it comes to, hey, here's my thing, would you buy my thing? Or come buy my thing, or hey, buy my thing. What is so scary about saying that? So right at the top of the show today, and I didn't feel any fear about it at all. I was telling everybody about being inspired. I'm very excited. It's going to be an incredible event. I have no problem telling people that it's £89. I have no problem saying this is going to change your chuffy life. Come and get your bloody ticket.
Yeah.
I'm asking, if I'm telling people they could buy. I didn't used to do that. I was really scared of saying,
There's two things. That is, you get used to saying it. So you're used to saying it. And that, to be honest, that's number 2. Number 1 is knowing the value you're giving. In the product or the service, whatever that is. If you believe that yourself, then you actually don't sell like a market trader. That's the only way I can think of. Because you sell and you're not, for me, selling isn't from like, here's 2 apples, it's £5 each, do you want them? It's £10. Here's 2 beautiful pink juicy apples. I've just picked them off my tree. We've grown them for 12 months. They're the most delicious apples you've ever tasted in your life. Not going to change your life, but they're organic. They're this, that, and the other. So all that passion is.
I want your apples now.
Of course you do. And
I want your apples.
Because people always say to me, there is that scenario. Here's the big pen. Alan Sugar says it. Sell me the big pen. So it's the benefits, it's the passion, why you like that. And by the time you get to talking about figures and things, you're the queen of it. You whip us up. We're on the journey. We're with you. We're invested in you. And then when we want to be in your arena, so it's £89 to support that particular thing, or it's £1,000 because you want to be better in your business. Whatever that investment is, has got to come from a value point of view. The bit about saying the money, Again, I don't have the issue, but I do get it, and I know it's a block for a lot of people. The only way I can say is it's repetition. It's that building that muscle up, that if you come from a value giving viewpoint to start with, and then you build that up and you go, yeah, do you know what? It's amazing. I know that that you're going to get every penny and more from this. It then becomes it's a bit easier, and other people see the value.
I think making easy to buy as well makes a massive difference. There is a reason why Amazon have created one-click purchases, and that's to stop them going through a checkout process. Yeah. It's so you can do things like, dare I say it, impulse buy or what have you. So I'm last night, for example, I'm looking on my phone. Wallace doesn't really know how I do it, but I do lots of shopping on my phone. I'm like a little scroll and I like a little purchase. And I'm buying stuff for the new house, which I know you're all invested in. You particularly, Katie. When we move in, by the way, we've got to have a little plaque. Katie has seen every single post I've done about it. Every time I've sat outside this house, every time I've like every update that I've done, and then I say, "Hey, Katie, I've got this thing." She's like, "I know already. I've seen it, Dani. I've seen it." And she's fully coming to move in with me on Friday when we get those keys, aren't you, babes?
I'll be crying.
So I'm buying some things for the house last night. We wanted to buy some light fittings for the hallway, stairs and landing, and for the living room. And Wallace loves to research. So his neurotype is he needs to know all the things about all the things beforehand. He's reading over. I want to buy the thing.
Now,
and for the most people, once they've done the research, once they know the thing that they're going to buy or they want to buy, they just want to buy the thing.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Making it easy, if you've got to go through lots of different like sales pages, if you know, how do I buy this? Well, PM me, hun, and then you've got to have a conversation, and then you've got to buy it. That makes it difficult to engage with the purchase. So having a couple of different ways to incite the sale, to allow the sale to come in, is really helpful. The one-click buy, take my money. I want to buy. I'm a grown-up. I know how to make this decision. And
it is that impulse buy, and it is that we don't have the attention span. And there's also the bit with online. Once you've kind of signed up to PayPal, it's your friend for life. Because if you had to go and find your card to enter the digits again and stuff like that, that's kind of, I'm bored. I'm so over it. Did I need that lampshade? Possibly not.
I probably did.
You did.
It's like a brushed gold Sputnik situation.
Me not so much. You definitely. Ease. But you see, I'm reflective in how I sell is how I purchase.
Right.
Okay. So if you send me a sales page, I just look for the price. I do not read one word of anything else till I find the price.
Chances are, when someone's making buying signals in this way, like, oh, can you tell me a little bit more? However we look at that, that's a buying signal. They've seen something in you. They want to know more about that. We need to be able to give them the option. Some people will have already, kind of like me, I've done this with working with Lisa Johnson. I've done this with, lots of people that I work with. I already have looked. I've already made a decision. Reach out. 100%. I just need them to make it really easy for me to buy.
Yeah, 100%.
And then on the flip side, some people, like Wallace, for example, needs all the details, needs it laying out for him.
Totally.
So when we can provide those ways and those access points to sale, you're actually able to scoop up more people for your thing, right?
Yeah, and a lot of that, particularly if you're on the side where you're selling something, your own blocks come into that when you don't think it's got the value to it. You think it's too dear, which is a big barrier. But as I say, and this is where I get a bit bolshy, it's none of your business what people can afford or can't afford. You do not have access to their bank account. That is none of your business.
She said what she said. Katie Webster said what she said. I'm here for it. Take them to church, Katie.
But also, a yes or a no is not, and particularly the yes, you're like, woohoo, I'm moving house, I'm buying furniture, ticking it all off. If it's a no, it is not personal.
They're not going, no, actually, I don't like you.
No, and what I tend to do when I work with people is I take the personal out, which is why I talk products and services. So, and everything we do, even from a service collective thing, it's a product.
Right.
So you are selling a product. You're not selling your arm, yourself, your eyes, whatever it is. You're not selling that. You are selling a product. So if they say no, it didn't fit whatever it was, or they can't afford it.
Right.
It's none of your business. It's nothing to do with you.
It's like going into the Tesco and you want some chocolate and you've got 25p in your pocket and you're looking at a Mars bar. And we know a Mars bar don't cost 25p and you can only get a Freddo. Now, you're not having a do at Mars bar because you're not buying a Mars bar that day. You're buying a Freddo because you've got money in your pocket for a Freddo.
Mm.
Now then, if you're going into the shop, put my soapbox now. If you're going into the shop,
put your sleeves up.
I've got them up already. If you're going into the shop and you have the option between a Freddo and a Mars bar, there is something about the Mars bar that makes you go for the Mars bar, or something about the Freddo that makes you go for a Freddo. For me, say for example, if I'm watching what I'm eating, I won't choose. So I'll have the 70p that it costs for the Mars bar. However, the Mars bar won't fulfill the need in me. I just want something to scratch my sweet tooth, so I'm going to get the Freddo. Or I am going to not buy the Freddo and go the whole hog because I have the money to pay for it, and that Mars bar is going to scratch that chocolate itch.
Yeah.
But it's neither is a slight against Cadbury or Mars for not making that purchase.
Yeah, totally, 100%. And it's like it's your choice. People, it's freedom of choice if you want to go that far down the road with it. Yeah. But it really, once you take the personal attachment, I know when you write your course or you put something together, you put blood, sweat and tears in it. Oh my God, you love it. You know, it's your firstborn, and everything else. Why don't you want to buy it from me?
Right.
And that's it's getting that detachment from that, because once it's done and finished, it's there. And one of the things I try to do with a lot of people I work with is, particularly in the entrepreneurial world, we've got brains that run 100 miles an hour. So every time I get on a call with a new client, oh, I'm doing this, I've got this, I've got this, I've got this. And I'm like, whoa, chill your beans. That's like, if I'm like, what the hell, I'm spinning, then the client is spinning. They don't know which option to choose. Right. So I tend to take it down to a psychological thing, which all the big supermarkets do. They give you 3 prices. You go into to buy your wine, for instance. Me, in my case, Prosecco. There's a £5 bottle, there's a £12 bottle, and there's a £20 bottle.
Right.
The shelf that's most empty is the £12 bottle, because it's the funnel into that. So you give people choice. So you work on the 3 offerings, your high offer, your mid range, and your passive income, if you whatever that might be. It could also be your lowest one, so that they buy. I always say your cheapest one is they try before they buy, kind of thing. Right. It's 100 quid, it's 500 quid, whatever.
Low risk purchase. That is essentially a ticket. Often when people make that first purchase from you, they will then go on, should they like what it is that you do, go on to do more things with you. You grow, they grow with you then. Yeah,
and they can choose to walk away from that because it didn't work for them. However, I'm sitting here telling you that, and I don't have a low ticket because, do you know what? I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt. I don't, I will send you my sales page. I just tell you the price. It's that simple.
I think the interesting thing is, Kate, when you do this work, when you've been through you've run your businesses for years, so you're not new. Like you have understood that there are different demographics and different segmentations when it comes to market. So often for people in the online space, you've got to try out all those things. So having funnels with tripwires, things like that. And if you're not too sure what it is that I'm talking about, do hang out with us more, because we share knowledge around this jargon all the time.
It's our usual language, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It is. But you'll have like funnels with tripwires, low ticket between sort of 8 quid up to 100 quid, something like that. Then you've got things like memberships and courses. They tend to go sort of up to maybe 500, 600, 700 quid, something like that. Then you start to move into the more skin in the game situation, £1,000 to £5,000, and then £5,000 plus. Often you find them with £5,000 plus, you're looking at one-to-one work. I know that's where mine sits.
Absolutely.
And rightly so, because if you are, and this really boils my piss, when you see incredibly talented people and they're wazzing power hours out for like 25 quid, and you think,
what the hell?
You're giving your one-on-one
Where's the
time.
value? Where's the value? They've devalued
absolutely.
themselves straight away there.
Yeah.
And it's like there's a thing right at the minute, and because a lot of people come to me about pricing, because again, I don't have this issue.
Yeah.
And at the minute, there's two prices that people come to me. I'm thinking 297 or 597. Right. And I'm like, I know they've just gone.
Standard industry pricing. Does not
fit. And I'm like, and I laugh because they all think like it's like they've really worked it out, and I'm like, 297.
How much are you taking on per hour for that?
Somebody out there somewhere is using these two words, two numbers, possibly as a reference or an analogy. But those, if they're being trained, those are the two numbers that I'm getting told. Well, I think I'm going to charge this at 297, and I think I'm going to do this at 597. And I'm like, well, what? But then when we break it down, it tends to be around like a 997 or £1,000, £1,200 package because of the value they've added into it.
Yeah.
But nobody's bought it at 297.
Right.
Because they don't see value in 297.
Right.
Because if you're throwing the kitchen sink at it,
they're going to think,
what is going to go,
what's going on here?
Yeah, she's telling me I'm getting this, this, and this. That doesn't, for 297, what the hell's wrong with that? But equally, I would say, and somebody said this to me years and years ago, you do not go into a Mercedes dealership with Ford car money.
Right.
You just don't do it.
I love
it. You aspire to it. You can have it on your vision board, on your mood board, all of that. You know, your house will have been on your vision board, all of that.
We stood in it before we could afford it. We stood in it and I went, I don't know how this is going to happen. But
I am all for that. And I'm all for going and sitting in. I did exactly the same last year. I went and sat in the Range Rover. I now have it outside.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to smell it. Oh my God. I just needed it under my nose.
Like this with the seats.
And I'm the least rude person in the world, but although people who know me go, that's rubbish.
Not true.
But I'm very, you put it out there, it comes back and all. I do get that.
Yeah.
So I understand that, but you do not go into that dealership and start asking how much is it to negotiations to that level, because you've got Ford car money, and a brand new Ford is sensational. Again, you get the same smell, you've got everything else, you get the same experience, you've earned it and you've paid for it, but then you're on to the next level, and that's exciting. That is, if somebody said to me, I've just bought a Ford car and on my vision board now is a Volvo, I'd be like, amazing, let's do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And everybody's measures of success are different as well. So, maybe Range Rovers aren't your thing. Maybe, I don't know, you're like a Prada situation. Like, I really struggled. And again, it was a value thing as well, I think, for me. And valuing myself thing, Katie, I think was the important thing. Dee Badrosh, one of my best friends in the world. She's phenomenal. If you don't know her, go and check her out. She's wonderful. She's the well-heeled coach on Instagram. But she's one of my best friends in the world. And when we began to be friends, it's similar time, I guess, when you and me began our friendship. I had a Primark bag. Everything I got was, and that's okay. This is from Asda. I am matchy. These, you can't see. I'm going to show you. These are my matchy pants. Where's my camera? From the Asdas. I'm all matching. I'm matching, and I'm in Georgia Asdas, and that's okay. However, one of the things that she said to me is having something that allows you to feel the level that you're working at is very helpful to allowing yourself to sit in that space. She goes, what handbag have you got? And I was like, I've got a Primark handbag. It's a big handbag. I need a big handbag. It were £8. And she was like, well, have you not thought about really like treating yourself and recognizing yourself with a nice new handbag? I was like, I can't justify spending hundreds of pounds on a handbag. I don't think I'm there yet. She's like, Dani, what did you do on your last lunch? And I was like, £40,000. She went, you could get yourself a new handbag, Dani. I was like, okay. But the thing is, when you walk into a place, having something that feels nice for you, that feels that next level for you, is it really important for your vibration? Really put. And she was like, so she took me shopping. I got a Michael Kors handbag in the end, and honestly, I absolutely adore it. And I got a matching purse and a little wallet for it. And honestly, it's the nuts. I've never loved an item so much. And I don't really understand that. Like, people do collect shoes and handbags and stuff, and I don't really like things. You know, as you know, I get a skip quite often and chuck stuff away. But what it did do, it is allowed. I'd always seen people with posh bags going, "Oh, that's a posh bag. Oh, she must be posh. She got a posh bag." And actually, having that kind of posher bag allowed me to start to feel into the person that I am becoming. Same with the house, same with having, you know, being able to bury me a car, like going into a proper car shop instead of buying it off some dodgy guy off a car park in Formby, which is where I got my first car from.
But it is, but I mean, we were in a mastermind where we were last year together, and I remember when the post was in, put what you reward, and I'm thinking, I've never rewarded myself. My boys and my husband, they can have whatever. And the first thing was, you know, if you do what you're going to do in the month, what's the reward going to be at the end of it? And now this is expensive to me, and I'm like, I'm all there, and I'm like, I'd like a Jo Malone candle.
Ooh, nice.
3-wick one, you know. Top end,
proper posh one.
But like, there's other people going, I'm having a jacuzzi, I'm having my garden refurbished, and I'm
offering jigs by an island.
And I'm just thinking, I need to up my game on my rewards.
Right, and it's just allowing.
It's that also, which you said earlier on. It's who you're surrounding yourself with, you know, and they get it and they understand it, and you know, it's that, you know, a reward for me is I can get my white flowers every week. That's my reward. That's what I do. Another reward for me is I get my milk delivered in the little glass jars, because it takes me back to a kid when I put them out every morning, and, you know, and they clink and you put them out. That's, again, it's a memory, you know, and yes, I'm saving the world because of the plastic, but if I'm being really honest, it was for the memory. It wasn't for saving the planet.
Yeah, but it's nice that we can go back to doing those things now, and knowing that we're doing our bit. But kind of going back to what we were saying about the value thing, that when you're charging accordingly, if you are a box of Godiva chocolates and you are charging Freddo prices,
not gonna buy them.
People's going to think there's something wrong with the Godiva chocolates.
Yeah, they're going to think it's end of line, out of date.
Yeah,
there's something not quite right with it. Yeah,
right. So and again, positioning yourself in that market is really important. Having super luxurious brands and all of that, again, with Freddo prices, I don't know. I love a Freddo.
I'm loving the Freddo analogy.
I'm here for a Freddo is the thing.
I love a Freddo. I love him.
I remember when they were 10p and not 25p. I'm a fan of a Freddo. But yeah, it's allowing yourself to, if you in your mind say, okay, who is my ideal client? Where in the market are my competitors? And if you are saying, all right, I'm a Jo Malone candle. If you're a Jo Malone candle, then you best believe that you need to price yourself alongside 100%. The Jo Malone candles, so that people recognize, as well as, otherwise you're going to look like a cheap knockoff Jo Malone candle.
Of course it is. And that's also one of the messages, is at the very beginning of your pricing anything, is that you research your competitors. Because if you're pitching yourself at that level, and as you said, you don't want to look like the dodgy Jo Malone person in that room, then it has to have a certain, because, and I'm all for this, particularly if you're newer to this, those that you're aspiring to be, or you're wanting to play at that level, they've already educated your buyer. They've already done it for you. Fill your beans, sit back and put your price out. They've already done all that work. So if you know that what you've added in value there and what you're bringing to the table is what that client wants at that level, because you've done your due diligence, you've seen your competitors, you know what they're doing, you're pitching right, your messaging's right, everything else is right.
Yeah.
And if they've been doing it 3, 4, 5 years, you're not going in trying to reinvent the wheel or trying to start a new education movement on buying or whatever that might be.
Yeah.
You're just going to slot yourself in there, and you could be £100, £200 cheaper, but you still have to be at that kind of level. Whereas if you go in and you want to poach Amy Porterfield's clients, God knows how much she is, but you go in at £200, it'll be like tumbleweed. Because A, they won't read your information because you're not talking to them.
Right.
And when you know your package and your value, you naturally talk the same language that's in the package. So, and that will attract the right person.
Huge value there. And I knew that when we had you on the show, it always happens. A, I have an absolute blast, and B, like, look at the interaction that we're getting from everybody, not just from a feelings point of view as well. Love my glass milk box. Kirsty's saying, you're absolutely right, Katie. We're doing our bit to save the planet, but also it's evoking a childhood memory for you. Moving into the new house, I know there's a guy that does a milk round. And I want to do that because the kids, we don't have the Tesco around the corner anymore, or we don't have the newsagents here. Can you believe it's shutting the same weekend we're moving away? This newsagent's directly outside here has been there for about 50 years. It knows when it's time to leave somewhere just around it. The universe is saying, no, we're not even going to give you a shop anymore. Get out, Dani, go. You've had your time here on this estate.
Enough.
So, yeah, absolutely. But, I'm looking forward to having a milk person.
Oh my God.
We're for equality, having a milk person. So what else are we saying? Simon, don't knock a Fredo. We've had that one. Buying feelings are so hot right now. Buying feelings. Yeah. People want to feel a certain way now more than ever. They want to feel a certain way. Laura's saying, I now get more excited buying gifts for my clients than I do buy gifts for myself. Oh my goodness. Gifting my clients gives me life. I love it. I love it when they receive it. I love it when they're opening it. I'm Christmas.
I get uncomfortable when I get gifts, but I do. I love giving. Don't get me wrong, I love them, but I love giving. Birthday presents, Christmas. I go overboard.
Right.
Years ago, I wanted to open a gift wrapping shop.
Oh, man. Just so you could wrap stuff.
Oh my God, yeah, all day long. But there's no money in it.
I'm that person in the family who rocks up with the presents in a carrier bag. Really great presents, but in a carrier bag because I don't see the point. Mother's Day, I had to apologise. It was a paper Morrison's bag, but I took her a gin and her presents and whatever in a Morrison's bag. If you get a present from me, please don't expect it to be wrapped nicely if I've gone and bought it myself.
Well, mine will be. Mine will have things that when you open it, things fly out of it and balloons and. But my sister used to go mad because when my 3 nieces lived in Essex, I'm in Cheshire, they were in Essex. Yeah. And at Easter, I used to send a big box with Easter pajamas because we're a pajama family. Easter pajamas, chicks, everything. And I put helium balloons in. So when the girls opened it, the balloons would come up. But what I forget to tell my sister was that I'd scattered glitter on top. So when the balloons went up, the glitter went everywhere. And she's like, bloody hell, I've got to clean up now.
It's like them bump cards that you get. I've seen them bump cards. They're great concept, but you need to make sure you've got a proper good hoover. Michelle saying, oh no, I used to get my Freddos from that newsagent. I know Michelle used to be around the same estate that I'm on. I got my Freddos. I might go get a Freddo from that newsagent today for old times' sake.
You need to see this Freddo purchase on stories today.
I'll take it. Well, you come and catch us on. So if you don't follow me on the Queen Bee, Dani, you get all sorts of value in my stories. Come and play. So Kirsty's saying, so true. Knowing your package and your value is so important. Knowing your suite of services is an absolute game changer because confused people don't buy. It's all right saying I'm a public speaking coach, but absolutely no help to anybody if no one knows how do I deliver that.
Yeah.
How if they go onto my website and there's not a packages button that tells you how can you get in touch, how can you buy? Is there even a buy button? We don't know. You've got to be able to be very, very clear. Joe, I'm the first person doing a valuable and exciting variant of something that's already out there. Makes pricing a bit tricky. Ooh, what if you're doing something new, Katie?
Now, if we were yeah, but there's I'd have to know what it was. But I would then if it's tricky and it's new, I tend to break it down to an hourly thing,
right,
and see what that comes out at. So if you're drafting a course, or if you're physically making something from the first time, repurposing stuff after, that's just a Brucey bonus as far as I'm concerned. So I would tend to look at it if there's nothing else equal to it or similar to it, then I would just take it to the basics. You know, what's the materials costing you, what's the time, look at that. And if you don't know your hourly rate, unless you're on the minimum wage, like at £8, I would always pitch my hourly rate, I would say 125, because there's the other side of things, is that you pay for your expertise, for your knowledge that somebody else hasn't had to go and learn for 4 years, or pay for that course.
Or 30 years, you know, like we've got people coming through who've been a long time. You know, I've been in the game 20 years to teach people how to be on stage. You know, you know, there's definitely there's the way. I was reading somebody's status, or so there's something going around about a plumber. And there's somebody has got something wrong with their plumbing, and they'd tried everything. They tried absolutely everything, trying to fix it themselves. And they called the plumber, and the plumber came out and just knocked something. You did give something a little bang, and it started to work again, and charged £300. And the customer said, "What you charge me £300 for?" Well, it took me 30 years to know where to knock.
Absolutely.
So, you know, it might look easy to deliver. And when you're an expert in your field, you might think, well, I just know this, everyone should know it. They don't know it. And you need to remember that they don't know it.
And also it's that, and I'm guilty of this myself, is that the stuff that I deliver, I find very easy.
Right.
And that is because of that 10, 20, 30 years. And don't get me wrong, in that 10, 20, 30 years, and you'll say the same, you're paying because you're learning from my mistakes. So I'm saving you money.
Saving you money.
You know, I've wasted 30k on an advertising campaign, and my degree is marketing. So I should shame on me for falling down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
But if I can save you, that's why a lot of my actions are very direct actions, because they're born out of, I learned from that mistake.
You've made all the mistakes. That's what makes you an expert in your field. Yeah. You made all the possible mistakes that you could, so that your clients don't have to. Yeah. So, I mean, Katie, honestly, I feel like we should have our own podcast, because it's always an absolute scream when we get together and we just riff on life and the Freddo analogies and all that sort of stuff. That
we haven't even scratched the surface.
Absolutely not. But you've got some really, really cool things coming up right now, and timely things as well, that I think that for anybody out there that is on the market for certainly one of the things that Katie's doing at the moment, you really need to go and have a conversation with Katie, because of the results that I know that she gets. So Katie, tell us about what it is that you've got going on at the moment, that if for the right person that's sitting out there who's really enjoyed our conversation this morning, where we've only really scratched the surface of your expertise, even though we've had a
if you want to be scared a bit more, come follow me. Or equally, if you want to make more money, come follow me.
Well, probably the latter for all intents and purposes. But Katie, tell us about what you've got going on at the minute, and what people can get involved with if they want to come and hang out and learn with and from you more.
Yeah. So my current offering at the moment is my 6-month mastermind, and funnily enough, it's called Next Level. Because everything I talk about is next level. So it's 6 months. It's one-to-ones with me. I've got the most insane business experts coming in, and I'm talking big hitters. Yeah. They're not coming in to tell you how good they are or how much money they made. They're coming in to deliver tangible stuff, because I'm all about taking action. Yeah. They're going to deliver tangible stuff that I am going to keep you accountable for in there, because I'm making the pledge that you will make or want to deliver on 6 figures in 2021. That's where I'm going at. But equally, it's if if you're currently making £500 a month and you want to make £1,000 a month, you need to be in my DMs, because that's going to happen. Yeah. That's the point. It's tangible. You know, this the usual. There's the hot seats and stuff like that. But for me personally, it's the one-to-ones. It's the accountability. It's the cheerleader. It's I am your buddy. We go through all your packages, your pricing. One of the things I said, because I'm writing a book, is if you didn't know, was that
she's writing a book.
It was the editor that said to me, because I said, I don't have money mindset blocks. And she was saying about a lot of women do. And she said, well, pitch it that they can borrow your beliefs for now.
Yeah.
So I'm all for that. I've got enough of them.
Here for that.
So if you're struggling with that money mindset stuff, I don't have it. Come and borrow mine.
Yeah.
Let's work together. Yeah. And then hopefully by the time we finish work together, those money mindset, because I'm not a money mindset coach. Please don't. That's not me.
Yeah, but you become the people that you surround yourself with. And it's funny you should say that. I was talking, like, there's a chapter in my book about borrowing the belief, and Kerry Leather was actually sat around incredible marketing, the Marketing Mojo, absolute queen. She's fantastic. Kerry Leather, go and check her out. But we were sat around the table, and I had 300 quid in my pocket. And got over to Malta by the skin of my teeth, and all these multiple six-figure earners, seven-figure earners sat around this table. I'm there sipping my Pinot Noir like this, you know. Who am I sat at this table? And they were all talking about what it was that they were doing, what they were planning, what they were launching, and I'm like, please don't get round to me. Please don't get round to me, because I don't know what I'm going to say. And I'd said, obviously the conversation got round to me, chugged me glass of wine like this. What are you up to, Dani? What are you doing? And I went, well, I don't really know. Anyway, they all rolled the sleeves up, and they was like, how can you not see how phenomenal you are? How can you not see it? Yeah. You're going to need to borrow what we believe about you for a moment whilst we share with you something. 100%. Having that was like lighting a touch paper for me, for someone to see in me. And that's what you do for people as well. You really do. You don't just pretend to see it in them because of the way that your mind works. You get to, your mind works like a sat nav. It's like a GPS.
I have to slow myself down. And like how you said about those girls, they were like rolling the sleeves up.
They were like this. I was asking.
And that's what I'm saying. A lot of my clients, I don't know whether I should say this, they either need alcohol after a session or they need to go for a walk in fresh air, because it's that passion that I can see it with that clarity that at the moment you won't see it, but I promise you by the time we finished, it'll be crystal clear.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that's one of the beauties about what your particular zone of genius is. How do we find out more about this, Katie?
I've got a link, so I'll put it in the chat. DM me on Facebook, or come and follow me, Katie Webster Coaching on Instagram. DM me, jump in there. You know, even if it's just to say hi and stuff like that. I love connecting. I love finding what people are doing.
Your knowledge of people and your network is absolutely phenomenal, and that's how we connected in the first place. It was via networking, and there's always something there's always somebody that you know who's connected to someone. It's a very similar way to me. I think that's why we're friends and why we get on the way that we do. It's just like we go around scooping. It's like a Pokemon ball, and I go around with my Pokemon ball going, I choose you, and I put them in my Pokemon ball, and then they stay in there until I need them, and then I realize that somebody else needs one of my Pikachus, so I introduce them to my Pikachu.
We are people, aren't we? We love people. I love people. Don't get me wrong, I love business, I love money, but ultimately I love people. Yeah,
absolutely. And I think that's what really makes you stand out. Katie Webster, thank you so much for joining me again on the show. Obviously you'll be back on again.
We need to do a show or something.
We just need to do something.
When you've got 5 minutes in your, let's move in on Friday.
Let's move in together on Friday, and when you're in your room in the new house, then we'll talk about it then. Katie Webster, thank you for joining me on the show at Wise and Rise Up Show.
Thank you for having me.
What an absolute powerhouse. Honestly, I love having Katie on the show. It is an utter joy talking to her, and I really hope that you lot have got some golden nuggets of information. I've got a tickle in my nose and I'm going to sneeze. I probably really am going to be disappointed about the fact that the sneeze is now dissipating and I've not managed to sneeze. There is nothing more disappointing than a sneeze that has evaded you. Anyway, so yeah, absolutely wicked show this morning. If you have like not long since joined us, please do go back to the beginning and watch again, because we've been sharing the gold this morning, particularly around sales and owning your value. Do go and check Katie Webster out. She's a phenomenal woman to have on your side, in your corner, and in your life in general. Have an incredible day, you guys. Join me again tomorrow at 9:30 for the show, Rise Up Show. If you are wanting a ticket to be inspired, make sure you put ticket in the comments. I want to sort you out. Let's get you hooked up with a ticket. They're £89, 2 days, 22 speakers. It's going to be incredible. I'm going to be bringing you from a studio, from a TV studio, all singing, all dancing, fireworks, the lot, into your rooms, wherever you are in the world, to bridge that gap between the Zoom gloom and summits that we've had for the past 12 months into live eventing once more. We are bridging the gap. That's the things that we do here at the IATQB Hive. I love you. Go follow me on Instagram. We're going, Operation Swipe Up's going good guns. I think by the end of today, we should have 3,500. We want that 10K swipe up. So please tell your friends about me, about the Queen Bee Dani, and about the show Rise Up Show. I'll see you later. Have an incredible day. Happy hump day, y'all. Take care. Love you. Bye.